This episode is about why I started a company and why I think you should start something too. Ideas are created and processed through our internal feed at a constant and guaranteed basis. Subconsciously organized into categories. The unexpected, the incomplete, the obvious, the someday. So which ideas are worth listening to? And which are the ones we let pass, at least for now? I don't really think there's a true decision point here. I think you can tell. It's the ideas that tap you on the shoulder, the ones that get you to turn around. Now, while I think generally it's a natural instinct on knowing which to pursue, what happens next is crucial. We've all heard this saying, it's the thought that counts. Is it? Is simply thinking of something enough? How could it qualify as a count? A thought alone? How can it be the same as action? Thoughts can be useful and motivating and important. They can also be disguised as a safety net. We can trick ourselves into believing that thinking is doing. When compared to action, a thought lacks substance. So how can a thought count as the whole point? It may be the start, but to count it, action must follow. Speaking of thoughts, there was something I often thought about. And again, it was tapping me on the shoulder.
I got to this point through a few experiences. I often found myself buying hats online, and the result I received in the mail was never what I anticipated or what I wanted.
I mean, going to 368, I think kicked it off. Like, I've been just obsessed with entrepreneurs forever. Well, I remember on our vlog, we talked about it. I'm like, yeah, I still feel in my 5-year plan. Yeah. And I was like, it should be in your 3-month plan.
Here I was again, sitting comfortably in my daydreaming thoughts. This time, I reacted.
You know? What makes the hats that I like? I couldn't even really formulate that for myself. I knew when I put it on, I liked how it felt, and I knew that I liked the color and how it looked, but what did that really mean together, right? After research and understanding what a good hat meant to me, I wanted to define it.
And if I was defining it, I was now in action, acting on my reoccurring idea. The idea? Start a hat company. All right, so what does that mean?
First batch ever.
How could I provide that value and definition that I hadn't been able to find? Many hats I like.
Holy hats.
No hats I love.
I wrote down words that felt comfortable to me, that bring me power.
But first, to think of a company name, I challenged myself to think of words that meant something to me.
And I landed on still.
And a single word kept reappearing.
To me, still can mean many things. Still one day could mean peace and calm and keep. It can also mean persist, continue.
This is crazy.
To me, I can be both of those things. I'm allowed to be calm, and I'm allowed to be persistent, and I'm allowed to be those together.
I decided on still, yet was looking for a word to pair. After discussion with some friends, I realized still was enough, so I paired it with company. Still company.
So these are 2 tester versions for a next batch.
I had a name, a little momentum. It was time to develop the concept.
Couple samples to figure out this one.
Dive into the details. I had visualized the end result many times. But how do I get there? I'd never done this before.
Wow.
I did my best to formulate what was in my head into a business plan and drafted potential content across all platforms. I created target dates for even the most granular of tasks. I wanted to have some bearing while entering an extremely new arena. Okay, so now what? Well, I needed to come up with a solution first. Again, many hats I like, no hats I love.
You deserve a hat that you can anticipate and understand. Still Company will always provide very upfront instructions and descriptions of what the product is, what you can expect to receive in the mail. Because if you receive what you expect, the chances are you're gonna wear it more often.
And then it was time.
Today's the day that I get my first batch of hats. What?
to see my logo on a tangible product. I had built up a lot of pressure for this moment. It's usually how I treat things that matter to me.
Holy crap. I'm wearing it. I did it. It's happening.
I accidentally, subconsciously apply a do or die mentality into anything I take on.
This hat is just like you thought of something and then you made it and then you did it and now it's a thing.
It's the athlete in me.
I'm really happy. I'm really proud. I'm really excited.
So even in these exciting moments, I still create a heightened anxiety in my mind. I'm weighing every moment against what I think should happen. I'm still calculating the details. So it's hard for me to come up for air in the moment. I'm trying to keep a perfect score. But as my wife would say, for what? The details can make me tense. I probably spent too much time just staring at a screen, a calendar, my schedule.
We'll hear all about the product details.
Trying to think of every detail, anticipate every scenario. What did a successful hat company look like? That's what I need to be. I could feel a new mood overcoming my internal feed, and I could tell it was becoming unproductive. I wondered, worried about what I didn't know. What was I missing? I wanted Still Company to feel polished, to stand on its own. It was like I was trying to skip ahead to the end, overemphasizing details that would not break or make this company by any means. Convinced that people would pick apart my company, highlight my mistakes. Okay. It was time to reset my mind. Circle back. Remember the idea. I was making something. Starting something. A brand new project where I could exercise new creative and business muscles. So what did a successful hat company look like?
Ready?
Well, I get to decide that here. And for now, I'm deciding to wing it and embrace every second of it. I wanted to remember to allow myself to guess and check. That pressure and expectation should be recalibrated as fun.
Like, this is crazy. Oh, it's comfortable. It's like very flexible cotton.
I had turned my daydream into action. I had prepared best I could. And for now, that was more than enough. While I was using preparation to aid in my action, there was something else I could do. When you feel fear or hesitancy, you know what's a really good
10
next
minutes
step?
until boarding, but I needed coffee.
Ask for help. Even in the middle of something I've never done, I knew a few things to be true.
Yo!
If I wanted it bad enough,
Do you remember Alex?
Oh, hi.
Hey, this is
up?
Alex. Cool hat.
and could lean on the support of extremely skilled and focused individuals, I could really do this. I could make this company come to life.
All right, another shoot, more of an Instagram shoot, prep content, vertically, horizontally, for promo, for launch. Let's do this.
I was starting to feel the fire again. It's incredible what collaborating with like-minded people, and some badass women at that, can feel like.
It's product shoot day.
The brand. To the brand.
Cheers.
Still company.
Is born.
Still Company felt like it was officially underway.
Woo! Product photo day.
The fact that we get to see any of this, take pictures of this hat, it's because of a thought, which turned to action. Now apply it to something in your life that you have actioned on. Now pretend for a second you had not taken action, but thought about it 1,000 times. Did those thoughts count? Did you really score 1,000 points? Or were you just practicing? Don't get me wrong, practice is important. However, I propose that we, as a population, change the phrase. It's the action that counts.
Hold, she said.
Because if you only think without action,
Live action.
you're not even in the game.
Oh, that's good.
Been happy now.
Yeah. The kids are doing it, yeah.
You're on the sideline, warming up. and I can promise you that no points are scored in warm-ups. It's practice, sure. But you have to get in the game. It's how you start your season, acquire stats.
Should we go in, Alex?
I think it's going really well. I like
do
it.
too.
I like it.
It's how you get better. It's how you start counting.
Just seeing what we've got from yesterday.
I promise to you I do not have it all figured out. I'm not speaking to you from an award-winning stage. I'm speaking to you from experience.
So there'll definitely be other hats.
It's not there yet. This is me posing while Alex is taking a picture of me behind the scenes.
An experience that was my own.
Here it is. Nice. Okay.
I really like
That is so cool. We are just getting started, people.
And breaking news, part of that experience includes what society likes to call mistakes, accidents, a real bummer.
Did you hear that my camera broke? Oh, I think the screen just might be broken. So I just broke my camera.
The next day, it just fell like a really, I mean, it's like 4 years old. And so it broke. It's fallen a million times. And then this was the time that it broke.
Or you could get the 6400.
That flips? Okay. So we'll go to Best Buy later. Just kidding. Not really though.
Oh, no space.
But mistakes always make for one heck of a story.
It wasn't meant to be. That means we nailed it.
Plus, the one thing I know for sure, one thing that stirs no debate, is that I started. So if you've wanted to, you've been daydreaming, I think you should start something too. And watch the story fall into place. Because what's your alternative? Listen to your ideas, act on them, fail big, epically. And then laugh with your friends about it. It's okay if you haven't figured it all out. I promise you, again, I haven't either. But now at least I have an arena to play in. I'm kind of like the undersized freshman, studying the playbook after practice, preparing for my shot. Because I know if I keep studying, I'll be ready if my number gets called.
Okay, so we shot sit-down interview for the website. What else, Alex? Are we done?
We're done.
We're done, boss?
So even if I break it down into shameless basketball analogies, it helps me understand it. And then approach it.
You had a great day, Alex. Thank you. You're the best. Thank
Glad to
you.
have. Glad.
Because fear or not, I have always wanted to be in the game. Because playing is so much fun.
That's a wrap for the first launch for the first hat of Still Company.
Start something. Start your beginning. More to come on the next episode.